Hi guys, I am so excited to be bringing you my first used book haul of 2025. I finally gave in and I went to my library book sale. I've been really good. I didn't go in December, January, most of February. I'm filming this in late February, and I took you guys along with me, as you saw leading up to this, and I just had a really fun time. I found some great reads, a lot of mysteries. I had a rough time with thrillers, found lots of cozy mysteries, like general mysteries. You're gonna see what I picked up. This, well, is the sack here. Yeah, it's a few books, so I'm really excited to show you guys what I got, and I got all of this for $16. I love used book sales so much. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right guys, so I've separated this into genre. I have a lot of cozy mysteries, a lot of general mysteries, and then a few thriller type options. So let's go ahead and start with cozies. So for starters, I picked up two from the same series, and I was able to get book one, which I'm really excited about. This is the Southern Quilting Mystery Series by Elizabeth Craig. I have heard amazing things about this series, and I've also really been getting into kind of crafty cozies. I feel like they're a really fun niche within the cozy mystery genre, and the first one in the series is called Quilter Innocence, and I believe that is a corgi on front, which I'm so excited about. And then the other one I got is called Sheer Trouble. I haven't read any from the series, but they were both such a good deal that I was like, okay, you know what, for like $1 I'm gonna risk getting the second book and seeing how it goes. And it looks like this one's actually book 4, so I might check to see if my library has some of the ones in the between, or maybe I can listen to them, whatever. So what's really interesting is the main character, Beatrice, is a retired folk art curator, which is really interesting, and she makes a move to North Carolina. She gets involved in this quilting group, and there's this quilting craft shop in town that is being threatened with closure because the landlord, who nobody really likes, is trying to raise the rent like a lot suddenly, and that person, it sounds like, is going to be found dead, which is interesting too because the landlord apparently is a quilter, so you think they'd give a fellow quilter maybe a little break or try to help him out. I don't know, but there is, I believe, a corgi. I'm assuming that's a corgi on the front here. I've heard some amazing things about it. This one takes place during the fall, so I'll probably save this for autumn, but I'm really excited to dive into this one. Another series that I have been meaning to get to for the longest time. So when I saw this for $1, I was like, here it is. This is called Lending a Paw by Laurie Cass. This is the Bookmobile Cat Mystery Series. Do we see this bookmobile? How adorable. Okay, so this is just amazing. So amazing. So it takes place in, I think, like a small town, Michigan. And our main character in this is a librarian who is about to take the bookmobile on its maiden voyage. And one day this cat, who's like a stray cat, Eddie, follows her home, and she can't seem to shake the little guy, and he even sneaks on to the bookmobile's maiden voyage. And while they're out and about, he runs off and finds a body. And of course they get involved in the investigation. And I have been meaning to read this for the longest time. I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's bookish, it's cat, like, I mean, there's just, and it's a bookmobile. Like, how fun is that? So I cannot wait to read this. It looks like it takes place during spring or summer based on the cover, at least. So I'm really excited to read this soon, hopefully. Oh, and then this was incredible. For 50 cents, I got a hardcover. Amazing. And I know this one is far into the series, but I've been meaning to read this for a while, and I just couldn't pass up a 50-cent hardcover. This is Dead to the Last Drop by Cleo Coyle. This is a coffee house mystery series. Again, one that's been on my list for a long time, and this is going to be my visual reminder to get into the first book in the series and read it. And this one's a little bit interesting because I think it takes place outside of the typical small coffee house that the main character runs, because they're actually asked to consult at the White House on this like rose garden coffee like tea party kind of thing. And the main character actually gets to befriend the president's daughter, and then someone drops dead in their coffee house and the president's daughter goes missing, and it just sounds very dramatic, and it looks like a good July read. Like the colors are very patriotic looking to me. So I don't know, I just, for 50 cents, I've been meaning to read this series and I was just like, I can't pass this up. Another series that I think I've read one book from but I've been meaning to continue is the Beyond the Page bookstore mystery by Lauren Elliott, and this is called Proof of Murder. It says, "Elementary, my dear Anne." What a gorgeous cover. This is a locked room mystery in particular, which I am so excited for. So it looks like this is book 4 in the series. It takes place in a seaside New England town. Our main character was left this like beautiful Victorian estate, and I believe her bookshop specializes in like rare books, like first editions, things like that. So she's always on the lookout for estate sales in the area, and there's this haunted mansion nearby that has an estate sale, and she comes across this rare manuscript from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, which she believes is a study in scarlet and might be worth a lot of money. But when she goes back later to collect it, she finds a body and it's missing. So this sounds like just the ultimate perfect bookish cozy, and it looks so perfect. It looks beautiful. I love this library. It's gorgeous and I can't wait to read this. Then I picked up Six Cats a Slayin', a Cat in the Stacks mystery by Miranda James. I have read the first book in the series and it was wonderful, and I really this is like the list of books I need to continue the series from, which is an endless quest with cozy mysteries. This is book 10 in the series, so I'm hoping maybe I can read a good chunk of these before Christmas, because I would love to read this for Christmas this year. Look at this cover. So this one involves our main character Charlie and his Maine Coon cat Diesel, which is like a giant cat breed that is beautiful. And Charlie's a librarian, I think like at a local university. And in this one of his neighbors, who's like a real estate developer, is on him about his house. So they really want to like acquire it. And it sounds like she might have some romantic intentions toward Charlie, which I don't think he's quite looking for. And then one day he wakes up, it's getting close to Christmas, and there's a box of kittens on the door with a note asking him to take care of them. So he takes them in and they go to a party. Someone passes out and dies at the party, and this just looks like the perfect Christmas cozy. Look at the spine with the cat. I love it when there's like a little detail like that in the spine. This is beautiful. I can't wait to read it. And then I have behind me, where is it? A while ago, I picked up Motif for Murder by Laura Child, which is a scrapbooking mystery, and a bunch of you guys told me not to read this one out of order, like definitely read it in order. So I finally went and I picked up from my library Keepsake Crimes, a scrapbooking mystery. This is the large print edition, so I'm going to put the normal cover on the screen, but this one takes place in New Orleans with a scrapbooker. And our main character is Carmela. She owns this small scrapbooking store called Memory Mine, and her ex-husband is pegged in this as a suspect in this mystery, this murder. And even though she and him had a rocky end to the marriage, she doesn't believe he's a killer, so she gets involved in the case. I'm very excited for this. I do really love Laura Childs. I've been reading her Teashot mystery series over the last year and I've loved it. So this will be my second series from her. I don't think I've read anything else by her. So I'm really excited to try a scrapbooking one. And now moving on to kind of general mystery. I think there's still a lot here that's on the cozier side, not like necessarily super graphic, but we will go into that. I picked up The Art of Deception, a Daughter of Sherlock Holmes mystery by Leonard Goldberg. Honestly, this cover alone drew me in. Like, how beautiful is that? And I love her dress. So this takes place in the West End of London. I believe it's historical fiction. I don't think it takes place in today's era, at least based on here. And our main character, Joanna, is the daughter of Sherlock Holmes, and she is called into a case when Scotland Yard can't figure this out. She is called in on a case with the Watsons, and there's this person who is slashing pictures of women, valuable like paintings, and they're breaking into homes and slashing these paintings. But when they examine them, they realize they're not actually like damaging the backing of the painting. It looks more like they're almost looking for something hidden in the painting. I'm really intrigued by that. I'm hoping you don't have to read this in order. I'm not sure exactly. If you've read this, let me know. But I think this is book 4 if it is. But it's a Daughter of Sherlock Holmes mystery. This just looked really good. I do love a reimagining of historical figures, whether or like characters. I really do like seeing authors play with well-known figures or characters and kind of reinvent them. I love that personally, so I'm very excited for that. And then for $1.50, I found this Agatha Christie collection of 5 novels. Now, I do own Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, but these other 3 I don't think I own, and this cover, I mean, oh my goodness, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. So this contains 13 at Dinner, The ABC Murders, Cards on the Table, Death on the Nile, and Murder on the Orient Express. I have read Death on the Nile and Murder on the Orient Express last year. Absolutely adored them. If you have a recommendation between the 3 that I haven't read, which is 13 at Dinner, The ABC Murders, and Cards on the Table, please let me know. These are all Hercule Poirot mysteries, which I've just been really adoring, so please let me know if you have recommendations from that series, but I had to pick this up for such a good deal. I was like, okay, I'm not that strong of a person to resist that deal. I'm sorry. And then this one is something I've heard so many good things about. I think it is cozy, I want to say, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I didn't want to include it in the cozy mysteries in case it wasn't. But this is called Macy Dobbs by Jacqueline Winspear. And this is supposed to be like a British counterpart to kind of like the Alexander McCall Smith's #1 Ladies Detective Agency. That's what the Associated Press says. So our main character, Macy, comes from a very like kind of poor background. She was a daughter of a struggling grocer, but she ended up working as a maid into this like wealthy family, and she was able to get a university education, and she ended up serving as a nurse in the front lines during the Great War. 10 years later, she is now opening a detective agency, and her first case seems like it should be an open and close like infidelity case, but it turns out to be something more, and it might have some connections to the Great War or something that brings her back to that. The cover for this is just absolutely gorgeous, and I've just kept, when I saw this, I just remembered, I was like, yeah, I keep hearing about that, and so I was like, okay, I'm game, I want to try it. This one has been on my personal want to read list for a while. This is called The Widows of Malabar Hill. This is by Sujata Macy, and this is a mystery of 1920s Bombay. So our main character in this is Praveen, and she is the first female lawyer in India, which is really amazing. She's also a big proponent for women's rights. It sounds like she has some personal, besides being a woman herself, she has some kind of maybe tragic backstory that explains why she's especially passionate about that. And in this one, there are 3 widows of Malabar Hill, and they have all signed this document that says they're handing over their fortune that they would have like received as a widow to charity. But there's something very suspicious and odd about some of the signatures, and she believes that someone might have coerced them or forged the signatures because they have nothing else to live on. Like, why would they hand over all of the money and like wealth they have and leave themselves nothing to live on? It doesn't really make sense. So she is looking into that to make sure no women or children are harmed in this. I'm not sure if this is really like a murder mystery series. It is a mystery of 1920s Bombay, so I'm not sure exactly, but I haven't really heard anything about this, and I thought this sounded like a really interesting read. And then lastly, for general mystery, I believe this is actually like a middle grade, but I loved it so much. It's called The Sherlock Society by James Ponti. Look at that cover. And then inside, look at this. There is a map. I was like, okay, I'm not the biggest, I don't read a ton of like YA or middle grade personally, but this looks so fun. So the main character in this is Alex and his sister Zoe, and their last name is not Baker, it's not Walker, it's Sherlock. So the natural thing for them to do this summer was to open a detective agency because they don't want to have a boring summer, and they're not gonna, you know, their last name's not Baker, they're not gonna bake cupcakes. So they just thought that seemed like the right thing to do, especially compared to more traditional middle school money-making schemes like babysitting, boring, lawn mowing, sweaty, or cleaning out the attic, boring and sweaty. And they get involved in some kind of mystery. So I'm really excited for this. This looks really fun, and like it would just be a fast, quick, like heartwarming read. I couldn't resist the title alone, The Sherlock Society. That pretty much sold me. I was like, okay, you got me. And then the only like true thriller, I was looking for thrillers, but I really had a rough time with that. But I found Dear Wife by Kimberly Bell. This says, some vows are meant to be broken. And I have read one book by this author and I gave it, I think, a 3.5 to 4 stars, somewhere in that range. Like, it was pretty good. Not like a knockout for me, but good. So I was intrigued enough to want to pick up this book. We have two storylines that we're following in this. We have Beth, who is plotting to leave her abusive husband. She has been working towards this for the last year, and she needs to pull it off in a very tactful way to get out of there safely. And then the other story is a couple hundred miles away. There's this man named Jeffrey who comes home to find his wife missing. And his wife's name is Sabine. She is complete, like, there's nothing left of her except for an abandoned car, and the police suspect foul play. So where is Beth? Who is Sabine? What is going on? I don't know, but I'm really excited to find out. So that's kind of the general premise for this. I'm very excited to read this. And that is my haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I couldn't believe $16. I really couldn't. I'm so grateful for used books sales and the library, especially library book sales. Such a great place to get books. I'm always so grateful for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please let me know down below if you have recently picked up a book, whether it's from the library, a used bookstore, Barnes & Noble, whatever the case is. I would love for you to share what you've recently read or picked up. Thank you again for watching, and if you enjoy mysteries, thrillers, cozies, I talk about those every week on my channel. I hope you hit subscribe, and my name is Amy Marie. Thank you again. I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys!